Relationship talk with Nike this morning, and it's my pleasure to always bring you this talk about our. And I would usually say that if you're interested in building a beautiful relationship, if you're interested in building a relationship that is not superficial, a relationship that is not you know just on the surface, but you want something that is deep, you want something that is, that is real and that is not just for the grams. We don't smile just for the grams, we smile because we are truly happy. Then this is where you should be. This place is where you should be. You are welcome and welcome again. And I want to trust that we have been getting a lot of enlightenment as regards our relationship, and how to make it better. So today we are going to continue on the subject that we started last week. And the topic that we spoke about last week is conflicts in relationships, whether you're married or single, conflicts generally. And as a brief recap of what we did last week, I want to quickly remind us. Last week we spoke about conflicts in relationship, and we talked about why couples fight, and normalizing fights, normalizing conflicts in relationship. And as a brief recount, I remember I spoke about conflicts being normal, but combats being optional. So in your relationship, if you want a relationship that is, you never have issues, then that might not be attainable. Really, that might not be attainable. We may not be able to attain that in relationship. But if conflicts show up, how do you manage conflicts in your relationship? So last week I remember that we spoke about normalizing conflicts. Conflicts are normal, but combats are optional. You can choose to fight or not, but conflict will come because of several reasons. And some of the reasons why we mentioned last week, the fact that you're even a man and a woman alone, sex differences makes us have different we perceive things differently, we interpret things differently. So our sexes alone is responsible for why we would always have differences, and a potential for conflict in our relationship. Our childhood experiences, we are not from the same parents. Our parental trainings, we are not from the same parents. We didn't have the same experience, and so we can't just think that we wake up one morning and everything would have been, unified simply because we got married. So no, it might not work that way. The truth of the matter is that we'll have opinions that are not aligned, and we would have to grow the skill to ensure that we normalize these things. We discuss about our conflicting opinions. We discuss about our conflicting views. And another thing that I remember that I said last week is that we should try as much as possible to understand that conflicts, when we have opposing opinions, we should try not to take things too seriously. There are things that we flog and overflog in our relationships that we don't even need to pay any attention to. What are we eat? You want to eat about in the morning? Who does that? These things. So far, is having a good life. You want to eat eba in the morning, that's fine. I want to drink, I feel like it's oats and flakes and cereals that we should have in the morning. And it's sincerely, it's okay. We should just always know that we should, as much as possible, try to avoid conflicts in our relationship. Then I remember I spoke about, you know, uh, I spoke about the expectations that we usually have. Expectations in relationships are a big deal, and one day I'm going to talk about it. It informs the kind of conversation that we have. Okay, I expect that this is how you should respond to me. I expect that this is how I want to be treated, and you're not treating me that way. Those are potentials for conflicts in our relationship if not well managed. If not well managed, there are potential for conflicts in our relationship. So today I want us to continue speaking about conflicts in our relationship, but I want to approach it from the point of view of emotional connectedness. from the point of view of emotional connectedness. And what do I mean by this? Usually in our relationships, usually in a love relationship, in any romantic relationship, most of us get into expect that in our romantic relationships that we would be treated in a particular way, but when we are shopping for these people that we want at the point of choice. I remember one of my mentors, I was listening by way of Pastor Sam. I was listening to him recently, and he was saying that marriages and relationships um, cannot work without emotional connectedness, and which is a fact and a truth and a research proven, fact that relationships, we need a lot of intelligence. We need to be financially intelligent. We need to be materially intelligent. We need to be spiritually intelligent. We need to be intelligent in a lot of ways. But one factor that ensures that you have a beautiful relationship, that ensures that your relationship thrives, is the fact that you have emotional intelligence. If you are not emotionally intelligent and you're not emotionally connected with your spouse, the likelihood for a romantic relationship to work is very slim. And I think that these are the things that we should pay attention to. The a lot of us, when shopping for our spouses, especially for single people, at the point of choice, we look for him. Does he have six pack? We look for physical. We check the physical box. Yes, is physically okay. We check the financial box. Is he very does he have money to take care of me? In fact, your parents will be joyful that, yeah, this person has money to take care of you, so don't worry, you are going to be in safe hands. This person, does this person have good family? You check for his background, you check for all those things, except for his emotional maturity. Hardly can a marriage, hardly can a romantic relationship work if the people involved are not emotionally mature, and they are not emotionally intelligent, and they are not emotionally connected. And a lot of couples, even married couples, are not emotionally connected, um, because we don't know how to. We don't even get to speak about our emotions in the African climate. We don't get to do that often, because why should you be soft? People just expect that you get up one morning and you school yourself in the continue to expect that people should guess what you are thinking and what you're feeling and why you are uncomfortable. A lot of us don't get to leave that place. Thank you, Ronke Agbola, for watching. Ruth, thanks for being here. Shegunwe Banji, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys this morning, and the people on my Instagram handles, Choma, AK, AK Joshua. Thank you for being here this morning. Um, yes, so thanks. So just say I should just continue throwing tantrums. Yes, babies get to throw tantrums, and when they throw tantrums, everybody around them tries to find out what is wrong with this person, and we eventually find out, okay, this is why the baby is throwing tantrums, this is why the baby is crying. But most of us don't get to leave that mold. Most of us continue in that mold, expecting that anytime I throw tantrums, people around me that care about me. In fact, the funny thing is that we begin to see it as a sign of care, that the people around me should find out why am I upset, and they should guess and they should know. But that is not what happens that is not what we are expected as adults to look at, to expect from people. That is why at a point you begin to speak. Babies speak after a while. Ruth Dumadi says that immature people are so difficult to please. Yes. So one thing that happens is that a lot of us just get to throw tantrums and expect that the people around us would interpret what we are feeling. But even babies get to, begin to speak at a particular time. And it is too, even for us that have children, we know that it is too much for the children to continue to expect that you will cry and I'll ask, oh, why are you crying? Why? You are expected to begin to sharpen your communication skills to convey those messages that you are trying to say, or to complain about whatever it is that is happening to you. So as babies grow, we expect that as they continue to mature, they begin to put into the words those things that will ordinarily make them throw tantrums. So they begin to ask, Mommy, I'm hungry. You don't expect that because your baby wants to wee, the baby sits down on the floor and start crying and everybody finds out what is the problem. I don't know, and the baby is weak. I mean, your 4-year-old is weeing. The baby might need a spanking if your child does that. And so that is what we expect in relationship. I think that is the beginning point of expecting that people unravel you, expecting that people find out what is wrong with you. And I think that as we mature, we should know that it is immaturity for us to think that people around us should read our minds and to speak our minds, or to find out whether they are going to throw a magic wand or something. It is immaturity for you to expect that the people around you should try to figure you out. What we should begin to do is we should begin to speak. We should begin to communicate what we are feeling, what we are thinking. We should begin to communicate to other people. I feel unloved right now. I don't like the way you have just treated me. Those are the ways to communicate in adult relationships. We should not expect to continue to throw tantrums and get reward for throwing tantrums. So, one of the signs of maturity is that we get to communicate. And that is one thing that I want to speak about this morning. Emotional connectedness is facilitated. The sponsors of emotional connectedness is communication. One of the sponsors of emotional connectedness is communication. One of the ways that you can emotionally be connected to your spouse is speaking of communication. As adults, how do I get to communicate exactly what I am thinking and what I am feeling? It is not a crime to communicate what you are thinking and what you are feeling. That is one of the things that show that you are emotionally mature. And you have to let people know. One of the reasons why we continue to have conflicts in relationship is the fact that a lot of us do not communicate. A lot of us do not tell our partners the things that they do right and the things that they do wrong. Or we choose only to tell them the things that they do wrong and we don't tell them the things that they do right. And that is, the discussion for another day. But today I'm talking about emotional connectedness and how do we, achieve emotional connectedness. Emotional connectedness can be achieved when you speak truly, considerably, and honestly about what you are thinking and what you are feeling. A lot of us communicate, but we don't communicate truly and we don't communicate honestly. So sometimes somebody does something that you don't like. This thing, what do you think about it? It's okay. You have not told the person that I don't like that thing. You have not told the person, oh, okay, my husband is saying, a birthday gift. Somebody to unwrap you like a birthday gift. Well, I think that is Ruth was the first person that said always expecting people to unwrap you. And my husband said, okay, like a birthday gift. Okay, and I think that we may need to begin to communicate the things that we really think and feel, and that is what makes us vulnerable in a relationship. No relationship can thrive if we do not communicate honestly. Thank you, Antinka Adebayo, for being here. I really, really appreciate you this morning. Thanks for joining. Yes, so Blessing is here as well. Thanks. Everybody's joining me this morning. I'm feeling like a superstar. Thank you very much. So what am I saying in essence? No relationship can thrive if we don't speak honestly, if we don't speak truthfully. If you don't, at least sometimes you also need a little bit of courage and boldness to say the things that are on your heart. We need to be honest about what we think and feel. Do you go around giving people a bad piece of your mind all the time? No. But you give people, what communicating honestly does is that you give people an opportunity to meet the real you. A lot of us have been living with partners that we've lived with them for 10 years and they don't know us. Because at every given opportunity, we lie. If I want to use that word, lie, so that you can understand the gravity. We lie about the things that we are thinking. We lie about the things that we are feeling. We lie when they make us uncomfortable. We lie when they do things that we don't like. We lie and lie and lie and expect that they know us. You are not giving people the opportunity to know you if you continue to lie about what you're feeling. I think it is good. It is good for you to speak up in truth. Educate your partner about what you like and what you don't like, because they can never know except you tell them. And I think that a lot of, especially for us ladies, we are very guilty of, expecting our husbands to find us out, expecting them to know what you're thinking, expecting them to guess the gifts you want, expecting them to guess, how you want to be held, how you want to be treated, expecting them to just know a lot of things that you have not communicated. And we continue to hide under the guise that if you love me, you will find out these things. If you love me, you will know. If you love me, you will do this. If you love me. And I think that one of the basic, very, very basic levels, one of the basic ways of attaining emotional connectedness in any relationship is by truly speaking up what you think and what you feel, especially when it has to do with when your partner hurts you or when they do things you don't like. Try as much as possible, and the things that you like as well, try as much as possible to educate the people around you so that they know you for who you are. Most of us, especially people that are in the religious circle, especially some of us that are born again Christian, born again Muslim, we feel like we don't want to be combative. We feel like it is wrong. How do I tell this person that I don't like this thing, and I had said that yesterday and I have to say it again? It looks like I'm always looking for trouble. No, what it means is that you are educating your partner, and truth be told, education takes time. Nobody teaches somebody something once and you get to know it like that. Most of the time we get to educate and educate and educate and educate. Funke Obafemi, thanks for being here this morning. How do you deal when you speak up and it seems you are nagging over the same issue? Yeah, that is a very, very, very important question. When you continue to talk about something and the person does not get it, I think that one of the ways that we can get to speak over an issue is that, number one, we may need to dissect the issue. This issue that I am complaining about, is it a personality thing for my partner? Let's just go into it this morning, because I was thinking that I didn't want to stay long. But because of this question that Mrs. Funke Obafemi asked, let me just quickly say that when it is a recurring issue, I think we should try to find out, is it a personality issue for my spouse, for instance? Because if my spouse is someone that this is who the person is, say for instance, someone that is quiet, and you continue to complain about it. I don't like it when you are very quiet. I don't like it when you are very quiet. You are too quiet. You need to speak more. You were just behaving like a dumb person when we went out. Try to speak some more. Try to talk more. Then you may not get any results. You know why? Because what you are attacking is a person's personality. The person might not be able to change and become something different. What you need to do in that kind of situation is to accommodate the person. This person may not have what it takes to suddenly change and flip the switch, and the person becomes someone that is talkative all of a sudden. So if you are dealing with personality issues, you should know that these issues may not change. But even within the confines of someone's personality issues, like they used to say, your rights, you will not use your rights to disturb my own peace. So can we also discuss somewhat of a border a borderline where I know that, okay, you are considerate of what, let's say, for instance, someone that snores, for instance, that is not a personality issue. Someone that snores, and I want to sleep. Would it be okay if the snoring will not allow me sleep and I go to another room? Would that be fine? Um, so we have to look for how to work things out. At the end of the day, we are two parties involved in a relationship, and it is whatever works for the two of us. It should not be what your solution is, and the attitude also from your spouse should not be deal with it. You know, if we truly love each other, we should be able to talk about this thing. And I think that one of the ways that we can do this is to communicate. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. We can never shy away from talking about issues that hurt us. We should never shy away, you know, that are a big deal to us. We should find ways around talking about these issues. And because we have spent, how long have we spent now? I wanted to go into another. Okay, let me just quickly mention this. We may need to elaborate on it next week. Our communication pattern too, the way we talk, the way we argue. Um, do we have someone that does not want to engage at all for, you know, communication patterns in relationship? So I think that maybe I want to stop here for today so that we will not over emotionally. No matter what else the person is providing physical security, the person is providing financial security. There's, but the person is not emotionally connected to you. Sooner or later, you begin to get a lot of people complain. I have seen wealthy women willing to walk away from their husband because there's no emotional connection. They feel like their needs are not being taken seriously, and that is one of the ways that you can make a relationship work. And one of the sponsors, emotional connectedness, one of the things that make emotional connectedness easy or facilitate it is communication. We should not shy away from communicating honestly, truthfully, and sometimes courageously about issues that affect us. And maybe because of this question, next week we might want to talk about some issues that we may encounter in relationships, so that it is not just theory, it is a bit more practical. And if you need to speak to a counselor, that is what we do. I am a relationship therapist, a couple therapist, an emotional, therapist as well. So if you may want to speak with someone, our numbers will be there if you want to speak with someone concerning your relationship. And until I come your way next week, like I said, I don't want to overload us with too much information. I want to make this as brief as possible. And until I come your way next week, thank you everyone. Omoliolu joined. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone that has joined this morning. Chioma joined. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. And if this is okay by you, you can help us to spread the word by sharing our videos and liking it and helping us to spread the word around. Thank you, Mrs. Funke, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you. Our quarrel is now 1-1. All right. Until I come your way again next week. Bye for now. Thank you.